Buzz has been roaming through Asia for the last year, in a way, interspersed with dropping into Hawaii. And he is known as Buzz Coaston. He's the one who does our YouTubes. But Buzz now, for the first time, I think, is in Beijing, China, and he's been there for at least a month. And he's acquired friendships with people there. And one of his friends is a woman named Juanita, who may be there with Buzz. And we would like to have Buzz explain some of the things he said to me privately. He found that the images that the Chinese people in Beijing have of where they are and what they're about and their images in relation to the rest of the world are very different from what we would expect as we would hear from the TV landscape. First off, it's great that Buzz can even get through the firewall around China. Is that a factor? Skype is easy, Buzz, to get through?
Yeah, there's no blocking on Skype in PRC right now.
Do many Chinese have Skype?
Yeah, in fact, today, yesterday, our time, Juanita had it installed on her computer. Yeah, no problem.
So then you have the blocking of YouTube, which you've figured out. What other blocking is going on, and is the Chinese government worried about Skype?
No, it's hard to figure what their rationale is because they really don't talk about it. But they do block sites like, before I found the workaround, they block anything that tells you how to do the workaround. They generally block porn sites, they block YouTube, and anything that would be overtly anti-PRC, they tend to block. So it's pretty sophisticated firewall they put up.
But you can do email.
Yeah, there really isn't anything that you can't do. It's just one of those, it's almost like an annoyance. It's not really 100%, and anybody determined to get around it could do it, but it keeps the average person from going beyond the limits that are put there.
Of convenience. They have to make a little effort.
Right. In fact, it took me a month to figure out how to get completely around everything. So, so you have to be pretty determined to figure it out.
Right. So if you do figure it out, then the image of a anti-individual expression China that's on the TV landscape, it's a communist dictatorship, is not true. They are a weak factor in the chip landscape. And so then that would bring in what do people like Juanita, who's a functioning, I don't know if she's upper middle class, but at least middle class, has a job and is doing well with an international corporation. What does she think of the image? I'll ask you first, Buzz. What does she think of the ideas you've brought to her about the communication Skype world and all that?
Well, I met her originally when I was traveling through Burma, and I think she was pretty astonished by my particular ideas about China and the U.S. and freedom and all that sort of thing. So I don't know if that answers your question, and she's here, and she can answer your question, I think, if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd like to know what ideas startled her.
Probably because the friendship to China.
Well, the thing that she found interesting was that as a Westerner, I had a very positive view of China. Anyway, what would be perceived as a positive view by China by somebody who meets a Westerner. Most of the Westerners she met usually brought up things that, that were negative about China. And I pointed out to her, as I pointed out to many of the Burmese, that the U.S. government really isn't any better or any worse than the People's Republic of China or the government of Burma or a few other places.
So what did Juanita say? Maybe if it doesn't come through clearly, you could say what she says.
Well, what she said was that she was astonished by my positive attitude towards the People's Republic of China. When I first met her, I was pointing out what I saw was China's not just emerging power, but the de facto power in financial aspects in the world. And she found that to be rather astonishing. And then later I found out most Chinese find that to be rather astonishing.
They don't know that the Chinese government has bought up a big chunk of Wall Street.
No, in fact, last night I was reviewing some numbers with Juanita that I had uncovered. Like, for example, the largest owner of Treasury notes in the world is the People's Republic of China. They own almost $700 billion in Treasury notes. And, things like that. Their surplus, their trade surplus. The United States doesn't have a trade surplus. The People's Republic of China's trade surplus last year was $500 billion. So stuff like that. Their financial might is indeed mighty, but the average Chinese person seems to not know this.